You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Erica Russo, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, and welcome to the show. I'm Erica Russo, psychic medium and lover of all things woo-woo, and I am the host of this amazing podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new, welcome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you are an OG and have been listening to this since the start, thank you for coming back, and thanks for always coming back, honestly. It's because of you guys that I keep on doing this. I keep on recording. I keep on bringing you guys some really awesome people with a lot of information. So I appreciate all the listening, all the love, especially all the feedback that I'm getting on iTunes. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedule to let me know how I'm doing and let me know that you guys are enjoying this podcast. It really does make me so happy. So, if you are loving this podcast, if you are liking this podcast, if, this is something that you look forward to, please go ahead and leave some feedback for me on iTunes, because this is how the podcast has the potential to grow, is with every single person who takes the time out to leave some feedback for it. It really helps get the podcast out there and into a higher level in search engines. So thank you so much if you are taking the time out to do this. So today, this is dropping on February 18th, 2019, and today is my 32nd birthday. Wow. I'm still kind of freaking out that I'm 32, but I'm really just surprised at how much I have manifested and how much has changed in this last year of my life. So I wanted to do a special 2-part episode and talk about the things that I have learned in my life and the lessons that have helped me grow as a person, and just some tips that have really made my life so much happier and so much more positive. So I'm not going to do the Oracle card, essential oil, and crystal of the week because this is a special episode. I wanted to do this because I just wanted to. I just felt called to. So today I'm going to go with the first 16 things of the 32 things that I have learned in my 32 years of life. And then I'm going to do another episode where I touch on the later half of this list. Okay, so the first thing that I have learned in my life that has truly helped me become so happy is that you cannot control anyone. That is the number one thing. You can't control anyone. You cannot control your partner. You cannot control your children. You cannot control your parents. You can't control your boss. When we understand and we fully accept this, your life is going to just feel like a breath of fresh air. We so badly, especially us as healers, want to help everybody. We want to give people the tools to succeed, and we want to give them clarity and guidance. But it is not our choice if they take this help or not. It's just not. So when I really truly learned this, when I truly learned that I can put as much effort as I can into somebody, and if I can, put as much guidance and help in trying to help someone, put them on the right path, it is truly up to them if they take this wisdom and they use it to their benefit. So, this is something that has really just has changed my life, because I feel like, growing up, I came from a very, we were very conservative and I would say controlling. There were some control problems while I was growing up, and I didn't realize how it affected me, and it affected, my parenting and the way I handled my relationships until, this day I just kind of realized that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, right? So that is the number one thing that I have learned in my 32 years. And number two is you are allowed to say no. I love this. I love this lesson. I really do. So there have been so many things in my life that just thinking about, just even like birthday parties or events that I just really was not looking forward to. And I would just get so much anxiety just even thinking about having to go or doing something that I didn't want to do, but I felt like this obligation that I had to do it. I didn't realize how much that affected my alignment, having to worry about something that I didn't want to do or deal with. And learning that it is okay to say no. And we don't have to give some elaborate excuse of why we can't do something, why we can't go to a party, why we can't do anything, because it's nobody's business, right? It's nobody's damn business. If something is not feeling good for you, if something is not feeling aligned, if something is just not something that you are looking forward to, you don't have to do it. You can say no, and you can say it gracefully and with respect and just be on your way. So that is one thing that I really think that like a lot of people have a hard time saying no. We're either people pleasers or we just have this desire to help or just be there for people, but we're draining our own energy bank when we do that. When we're saying yes to something that we don't feel good about, that we're not looking forward to, that we truly don't want to do, that is draining our energy and that is lowering our alignment. So please just keep that in mind. I think the first time that I said no to something and I didn't give some elaborate excuse, I didn't lie about what, was going on with my life or anything. I just said no. I said, thank you for the invite, but no, this is, unfortunately, I can't attend. And you can call me a bitch if you want, but honestly, just being able to know that I can say no made me feel so much better. I didn't walk into a party or I didn't walk into a room that I didn't want to be in because I thought I was obligated to do so. That is something that I have learned and it has really helped me. So number 3 is the present moment is all we have. Now, this was really just kind of this was a big aha moment for me. I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and that book really just kind of shifted my thinking and shifted the way I saw the world and my life. And really, one of the big things in this book was we have to stop focusing on the past and the future because they're stories, right? Everything that happened in our past is a story, and everything that will happen in our future is a potential story. There's so many things that can happen in our future, and we can't focus. And when we focus on things that might be, happening a day from now, 2 weeks from now, a year from now, we are creating this, story within our minds, and it affects us tremendously. And one tip that I do when I'm meditating, and it really helps me, is when I find that train of thought starts going into my monkey mind and I start thinking of things that I have to do or things that happened, I just kind of say to myself in a very not strict, but like very assertive, I want to say, way, the present is all I have. And when I say that to myself in my mind's eye, I come back to my breath. I come back to the present moment. I detach myself from all thought, and it really helps me kind of realize that, the present really is all we have at this very moment. I can't worry about, just for me personally, I can't worry about tomorrow because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen a week from now. We have to just kind of take it day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, because when we, let's be completely honest, they always say, and I really truly believe that anxiety comes from worrying too much of the future, and depression comes from thinking too much in the past. And that is so true on so many levels. So when we bring ourselves back to the present moment, it really just gives us a power of what we need. Okay? So, number 4, don't take things so personally. Yes, 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 yes. This is something that I feel like we hear all our lives. We hear it in school, we hear it in adolescence, we hear it, when we don't get a job, like, oh, don't take it so personally, don't take it so personally. And we don't really truly sit there and think, maybe I shouldn't take it personally. There have been so many times in my life that I felt, I felt kind of victimized because of somebody's rude comment about me, or because I didn't get a job, or I didn't get something that I wanted, or something along those lines. I truly took it way too personally. Side note, I want to tell you guys this story about myself. I'm a little embarrassed to talk about it, but so I went to a sleepaway camp when I was like, I want to say 15 years old, and they had a play going on, and it was actually Newsies, right? And I wanted the role of Mr. Snyder, who was kind of like the villain. And I went for it, and I didn't get it. I was, the person that was like second. I don't even know, because I'm not a theater person, but I was the second person. So if the first person got sick, I was the second person that played Mr. Snyder, and I was pissed. I was so pissed. I love this movie, and I really wanted that role particular. And understudy. That's the word. Thank you very much. So I ended up being the understudy, and I took it so personally. I was like, when I went and I looked at, the sheet of who got what character, I was like, I walked out like stomping I was just such a drama queen, and I ended up not even like participating. I dropped the whole club, and I ended up not even going and seeing the actual play because I was that pissed. And looking back at it now, I am just like, I took that obviously way too personally. I took it way too to heart. And, I should have just, been mature enough to realize that, I wasn't right for the part. There was somebody else that was going to do a better job. And, now looking back, I totally get that. And I'm like embarrassed even talking about this right now, but this is just a personal story of mine where I realized, like, this really affected me, guys. Like, no joke, it affected me. Like, for days, I was so pissed off. I would walk around just, like, not smiling. Everyone knew why I was pissed, and it was just a complete madness shit show because I didn't get a part. And looking back now, I think I was like pissed for a week. And looking back now, I'm like, wow, I wasted a full week of my life being pissed because I didn't get a part in a camp play. Like, that's crazy, Don't take things so personally. I have things going on in my personal life that, there are people in my family that are taking things way too personally, like extremely personally. And I feel bad for them because it's not, the things that are happening to them aren't by any means a personal jab. It is not, anything towards them. It's just they are very sensitive and they take things very personally, and it affects them, And when I really truly realized this, and I kind of this was a big aha moment. I was reading The Four Agreements, which is a very well-known book, and one of the agreements is don't take anything personally. It is so true. It is so true. When we stop thinking that everything is a personal attack upon us, your life gets so much better. Your life is just like aha, I get it. Like, this is not anything I did. This is either you reflecting upon me or I just wasn't right for it, like if it's a job or something along those lines. So, we have to not take things so personally. If it is a personal jab, we have to kind of have some empathy to the person that's giving the jab, because this is just a deflection upon them. Okay. So, number 5, quiet doesn't necessarily mean weak. And this is something that I have learned this because of people that I have met in my life, right? We all grow up thinking that like the loud person, the person that speaks their mind, the person that screams and, gets pissed off is strong. We think that they're strong and that, they don't take no bullshit and stuff like that. And that is so not true. Maybe they are strong. Maybe they are, because they they stand up and flail their arms and speak their truth or whatever. And, you just don't want to mess with them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are strong. That just means that obviously their throat chakra is wide open and working because, they're able to speak their truth and speak what's on their mind. And that's great for them. But I have met so many people that are so quiet and so reserved and so, not something that you wouldn't expect to be strong. You know what I mean? Like the quiet person that sits in the corner, the person that's not really a chatty Cathy. And then I get to know these people and I realize just how much that they have been through and how much, their life has taught them. And I just see such strength in these people that are able to just kind of be the observer, right? They observe everything around them and they take it in and they process it in their own personal way. But through this quietness that they, hold throughout their whole life, they hold strength too. They hold such admirable strength within them. When we see a quiet woman, when we see a quiet woman that, doesn't necessarily, speak her mind or, touch on anything that, might be vulnerable or something, that doesn't mean that she's not strong. That doesn't mean that she hasn't been through hell and back. There are so many quiet women out there that deal with their emotions and deal with their lives in a different way. And it's really admirable. Like I can't tell you like how many times like I've met a person and, I get to know them or, I either, even with clients and stuff, they, when I first meet them, I get a sense of like a very quiet observer. And then when I really kind of go into their psychic read, I can see that they've had a lot of trauma and they've had a lot of heartache, but they have just learned to work through it in a way that helps them and gives them the strength to just move on with their day. And that is totally and just completely admirable. So, what's number 6? Number 6 is, this is a good one, guys. Number 6, gossip is the most addictive vice. So I am going to straight up say before I even start with this, I am guilty of gossip. And if you're going to sit here and say that you're not guilty of gossip, then maybe check yourself. Gossip is a dirty, dirty thing. I can't get over how many times, I have gossiped. And, there's so many people that just say, I'm not gossiping. It's just chit chat. If we're talking negatively about somebody else, if we're talking about somebody's relationship, if we're talking about somebody's parenting, if we're talking about the way they're living their life, honey, that's not chit chat. That's gossip. And it's addictive. there's a difference between chit chat and there's a difference between gossip. Chit chat for me is when we talk about what's going on in our own lives, what we're going through, things that are happening in our own life, circumstances that we're dealing with. That is chit chat. That is just harmless chit chat. When we start talking about our neighbors and we start talking about other people and we start talking about, someone we both know, and we start finding ourselves talking about their problems or their relationship or something that happened with them, that's gossip, straight up. We can have, I can start a conversation with somebody and we can just say, how are you? How are you? And she tells me a little bit about her life. And then I tell her what's going on with my life. And then somebody says, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? And then, I go, no, what happened? And we just go back and forth. And then we find all the stories about that. It is so addicting and we don't even realize we're doing it. Most of the time. A lot of the time it's completely harmless. It's not like a vindictive, like coffee chat where we're sitting just so we can gossip about other people. We don't even realize we're doing it half the time. I have really tried for 2019. My biggest thing was like, really, I don't want to gossip about anybody. I don't want to, it is not my right to have an opinion or judge anybody because I don't know where they're standing and I don't know the lessons that they have to learn in this lifetime. And we really do have to be so truthful with ourselves. We don't know what everyone is going through. We don't know their life and we don't know their struggles and we don't know what they signed up for, right? We don't know what the rapist signed up for. We don't know what the crackhead signed up for or, the addict, I should say. And we have to have some compassion and we have to understand that like, we don't want to be judged, right? Like as human beings, judgment is harsh. Judgment can really hurt our feelings. Judgment can lower our vibrations. So we have to be so, we really shouldn't be judging. And like, that's the problem. That's the problem is that like, I know when I'm judging. We know when we're judging. We need to just know that we're judging. I think that's the first step in like, helping ourselves as far as judgment is concerned is knowing when it is turning into a judgment, knowing when it's going from our personal views, when we are reflecting ourselves and our personal views upon somebody else. Because we don't have any right to judge, and gossip really is so freaking addicting. I can't get over, I'm just shocked at how addicting it is. And like I said, I am guilty of it. And if you're going to sit here and say you're not guilty of it, walk away, turn off the podcast, because obviously this is not for you. So I'm going to finish with that. And then number 7 is detach. So what I mean by this, right, is we can become so attached to our jobs, to our relationships, to everything around us, and to the circumstances that we are in. When we detach, and this is what I'm doing right now, actually, there are certain things in my personal life that are pretty negative, and I'm learning to energetically detach myself from them. Like I'm not putting any more of my energy into it, so to speak. When something comes into our life, either maybe a fight with a friend or a fight with our spouse or just something, we tend to pull all of our energy into this, and then it kind of consumes our life. This problem with our spouse consumes our life. This problem with our boyfriend consumes our life or friend or whatever. And it turns into like a full-time gig. So what I do is, obviously problems happen. Obviously, fights are going to happen and stuff like that. But when it happens, I allow myself to feel the feelings that come from whatever it was, the fight, the the problem or whatever, because you don't want to just throw it under the rug, right? When you fight with somebody you love, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel sadness. And we have to allow ourselves that. But after that, try to detach from it. Try to just say, this is a part of my life and this is happening to me right now, but I'm not going to allow it to ruin my day or my week or my experience. And we just kind of put it to the side. It's still there, obviously, but we have to put it to the side and we have to energetically detach. Don't put any more energy into that. And that really helps kind of keep ourselves in a better state of alignment. Okay? So, number 8, you can't get a gallon out of a half pint person. This is something that I learned like in my early 20s, actually. My mother actually told me this quote, and it just always stuck with me because it is so true. And it has helped me so many times over. We can't get a gallon out of a half pint person. If you're listening to this podcast, you are most likely living in a 5th dimensional life. You have an expanded consciousness. You are much more aware. You get it. You have spiritually awoken. You get the concept of reincarnation and all of that. And, that we have purpose in our life. So when us 5-dimensional people come in contact with a 3rd dimensional person, we understand that their consciousness is a little more limited to ours, okay? They're not going to get the bigger picture. Their consciousness can only take so much. Their awareness can only take so much information. They can't see, what you can see, and we have to accept that and we have to respect that. We can't, and this one comes and ties into number 1, you can't control anybody. So with number 8, you can't get a gallon out of a half pint person. This has really helped me just kind of, just not put so much effort into somebody or something that might not be ready for it. We want to, when we spiritually awake, I can't tell you how many times I just want to scream to the masses about how much happier you can be if you just, think this way or do this or meditate or that. That's how you feel when you spiritually awaken, because you have all the answers. You have all the tools that can make you such a better person, such a more positive person. And you want to give these tools away. You want to give them to people that are suffering from anxiety and suffering from heartache and all of that. So we have to understand that some people are just not ready. They're not ready to hear it. They're not ready to become more expanded, and that's okay. Their time will come, but don't try to put all of this energy into someone that doesn't have the capacity of taking it all in. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay? So number 9, don't wear your spirituality as a badge. Yes. 100 times yes. So many people, I don't want to say so many people, but don't walk around thinking that you're better than everyone because you're spiritual and that you have a spiritual practice and that you're connected to God or the angels or, you're a medium or a channel or something. We can't do that, because we are all here. Every single one of us is here for a reason. And maybe your reason was to awaken, and maybe your reason, for living this life was to channel or to, grow your mediumship. And that's fine. But that we have to just be cautious that we're not wearing our spirituality as a badge. We are not perfect. That is the first thing, I will always say, is that I am not a perfect person. I have my problems. I have my things that I need to heal, but I'm aware of it, you know? And that's just the difference, is that we are aware of things. We are aware of the unknown, but that doesn't make me a better person than someone who isn't spiritual, you know? So we cannot wear our spirituality as a badge. It doesn't make us a better person. It just makes us aware. Okay. So number 10, process thoughts and emotions before reaction. This is something that I work on daily. Like, seriously. I was always very quick to react with anger, you know, whether it was a fight or whatever. I was always quick to react with anger and to speak my truth and to, you know, just not hold anything back. And that usually tends to get me in more trouble. I have learned, because I'm very impulsive. I was very impulsive. Well, I'm still impulsive, but that's obviously something that I have to work on. So what I realized was, you know, before I react, you know, if I get a nasty email or if I get some, you know, if something happens and my first initial reaction is to just pounce, I have to hold myself back. I'm a person that I need time to go through what I'm feeling. I need time. And that's the only way it's going to come, you know, from a place of love, and it's going to work itself out, because I need time to process my emotions. And I've learned this. And I need to digest them, and I need to feel what I'm feeling about the situation before I go ahead and say something. Because we so often, us as individuals, are first, when we get negative news or we get something that isn't necessarily positive, we are so quick to jump on and just pounce. It's like the fight or flight reaction. But if we give ourselves maybe even an hour, you know, sometimes for me, it takes me a couple of days, but maybe some people just need, you know, a night or a couple of hours or a walk in the woods to really just digest, you know, what's going on right now. But we need to give ourselves that time. You know, we need to process emotions in a healthy way before jumping on the bandwagon and fueling the situation with more negative emotion. We have to, you know, we need to just give ourselves a break. Okay. So number 11 is laughter is the best medicine. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. 1,000 times yes. I have never in my life, like, this has always been something, even when I was a child, that I just love to laugh. I love to laugh about anything. And when I am feeling like, when I'm not in alignment, the first thing is, when I'm feeling kind of funky, when I'm not in alignment, when I'm not in the flow, the first thing I do is go on YouTube and I watch funny videos. No joke, because I know that that's what's going to raise my vibration. Laughter really is the best medicine. Even if you're just laughing at yourself, even if you're laughing at your dog or your cat, it really is just so intoxicating and it's so helpful. So, you know, when you're having a sad day, even if you're going through something or you're processing emotions and you just don't want to feel that way anymore. Sorry guys, I'm getting over a cold if you can't hear from my voice, so I have like that itchy throat. But if you're going through something and you just want to feel happy and you just want to laugh, you go on YouTube or even Instagram or find some funny videos and laugh. Laugh it off. If you laugh at the Friends, you know, rerun or The Office or something along those lines, laughter really is the best medicine. It really is. And I can't stress this enough. So, number 12 is make self-care a priority. This is something in my life, in my personal life, especially when you're a mom, especially when you have your business and everything, self-care always, always just ends up being the last thing on the list. It always ends up being the last thing on the list. And it's not for anybody's, it's a no fault of its own, but we just think that it's unimportant. Everything else is important. Our children are important. And of course our children are important, but we need to bump that self-care up a couple of notches, because when we can't function from an empty cup. We have to take care of ourselves first. I have learned that when I started putting self-care as a priority, and this is not just like going to a spa or getting a facial or, living a luxury lifestyle, not by any means. For me, self-care means meditation, going for a walk in nature, being by myself, getting my hair cut and, maybe getting a $10 manicure. This doesn't mean that we have to go on a spiritual retreat or, spend thousands of dollars at a luxury spa. This is just simple taking care of myself. Drink more water. That's a big thing for me. Juice, or instead of your third cup of coffee, drink some tea. Simple things like this help. And we have to realize how important self-care is, because I have realized when I really made self-care a priority in my everyday life, I'm just better. I'm just better. My readings are better. My sleep is better. Everything just is so much more positive, So we have to work on self-care. We have to align ourselves. And that is something that, like I said, I struggle with this. There are days when I don't even know when I'm going to have time to brush my hair. Sorry, not sorry. I'm just going to say it. Like, there are times when, my life gets so stressful that, I forget basic necessities, but we have to give ourselves a break. Okay. Just 10 minutes a day. And even if this is something, because I know that there's people listening that are dealing with this because they're growing a business, they're building a brand, they're making babies, they're doing all the stuff. Give yourself 10 minutes to meditate. And I don't even want to say meditate. Give yourself 10 minutes to sit in the silence and hold a crystal, or just drink a cup of tea in silence. This is going to help. Okay. So, number 13, take responsibility for your choices. I can't stress this enough. I can sit here, it is so easy to put responsibility on something else, on the circumstances in our lives. And we have to remember that our lives are just a bunch of our choices put together. It's our choice to get married. It's our choice to travel. It's our choice to do this job. It's our choice to, marry this person or be with this person. It's our choice to have children. And it's compiled of all of our choices. Nobody's choosing our choices but us. And we have to take 100% responsibility for the choices we make. Okay? When we have, if there's something like, I'm going to have another piece of chocolate cake. I'm going to have my 5th piece of chocolate cake. Then I'm going to have, a bag of Doritos and something like that. And then we're going to go and blame our family because we all lived an unhealthy lifestyle. Your mom didn't put that Dorito in your hand. Your mom didn't feed you that chocolate cake. We have to stop, giving our power away like that. That's our biggest thing, is we're so quick, we can say that, it's hard for me to trust men because, my father, this is just a scenario, we can say it's hard for me to trust men because my ex-boyfriend cheated on me. And I understand that, but we cannot give our power away to our ex-boyfriend like that. We have to work through this, and we have to understand that, when we give our power away, we're giving our power away. You're giving all your power away to that ex-boyfriend that cheated on you and made a horrible mistake. And you are the one that is allowing it to affect your future relationships. You are the one that is being affected by it. Not him. Not him. He's doing God knows what with God knows who. But you're giving him power that is ruining your relationships. Take your power back. Take responsibility and just say, this happened to me and I learned from it, but I am not going to allow it to ruin my future. All right. So where was I? Okay. Number 14. You are never obligated to be in a relationship. You are never obligated to be in a relationship. If this person is untrustworthy, if this person is nasty to you, if this person is a narcissist, I don't care if you have 11 children, you have no children, you have 5 children, you have, money invested in the relationship, or if you have a business together or whatever, we are by no means obligated to stay with this person. I know that this affects, the whole concept of marriage or something like that. But when we took our vows for marriage, we didn't sign up we did not sign up for this person to be a narcissist. We did not sign up for this person to abuse us emotionally, mentally, or physically. So God wants us to be happy. God wants us to be happy. That's the end game, guys. If you are not happy, even if the person is a good person, but you're not happy in that relationship, you have every right to leave. You have every right to leave, especially if it's an abusive relationship, and we can always say, oh, it's for the kids, or, oh, it's, for the sake of our marriage. And yeah, give it the old puncher's chance, I'm not opposed to, therapy or anything along those lines. Give it a try. But if it's years and years of therapy, and if it's years and years of abuse, it's not getting any better, whether we like it or not. And it's time to walk away. So number 15 is drink water. Easier said than done for a lot of us. I'm not a water drinker. I don't like drinking water, but I have realized that when I drink my at least 8 glasses a day, my skin looks better. I feel better. I just feel better. I honestly do. And my skin just looks like it has a glow to it. And it is important, and, some people drink water like fountains, but me, I have to remind myself to drink water. So definitely drinking water is something that I have learned in my 32 years that is a positive thing. And number 16 is try not to judge. And this kind of goes with the gossip thing that I was talking about. Number 6, gossip is the most addictive vice. Try not to judge. And, every day I have to tell myself not to judge. Every day for the smallest things. We can't judge, even today, or a couple of days ago, we had some snow and my neighbors ended up not plowing their driveways or shoveling or anything like that, right? It doesn't affect me whatsoever. But I see their driveway every single day, and I just caught myself being like, why wouldn't they do that? They have to go to work. Why wouldn't they plow their driveway? And I caught myself and I was like, it's none of my business. It's none of my business. It's not affecting anybody. I wasn't even talking to anybody when I was judging, but I caught myself judging because that's what we do. We judge. We judge everything. We judge our mailman. We judge our teachers. We judge everybody. And, I don't think we can ever stop judging, but if we're aware of when we are judging and we are passing judgment, then it's easier to take a step back. So that is something that I have learned. And like I said, we all do it every day. We all do it every single day. We can watch the nightly news and find something that happened with a woman or whatever, and we'll end up judging the person that's on the news or end up judging someone that's on the Dr. Phil show. Like I said, I don't think we can ever stop judgment, especially if we still have our egos in check. But knowing that we are judging allows us to stop us in our tracks. And that has really helped me. So this has been amazing, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh man, it's already like 45 minutes in. Thanks again for tuning in. And I am going to see you guys next time with number 17 through 32 of the 32 things I have learned in 32 years. I'll see you later.